like I said, we're going to talk about doing on-demand compute analytics with Hadoop, and we are going to do it in Azure. Azure is the cloud platform that we prefer as a Microsoft partner, and as a company that's totally lined up with the Microsoft data ecosystem. It doesn't mean we can't do this in other cloud platforms, and we do. We have other customers who run in different infrastructure as a service offerings, whether it's AWS, whether it's Rackspace, whoever. So a lot of these things will, a lot of the concepts will be similar, but the implementation and the simplicity of the implementation here specifically is really because of the fact that we're doing this in Azure and we're using Microsoft's HDinsight capabilities. So we'll get into some of the technical sides of that here in a little bit. The first thing I want to talk about is, I'm not going to do the whole what is big data and why is it changing the world and all of these types of things, because ultimately big data is not going to change the world. I know that might be controversial to say, but big data is essentially a group of platforms. And when we talk about the business and technical case for big data, I think the pointy-haired boss has it right. Using it is really the hardest part, and because it is a platform and it's a bunch of disparate tools, and really the hardest part about learning it, and some of you who said you've got intermediate level skills probably have already run into these challenges, is pulling it all together, right? There's 400 different individual little open source products that when brought together kind of like an orchestra will make beautiful data music. But if they're being played like a 5th grade band, like most of us know how to play them, it's just sort of painful to watch and painful to listen to. So, we need to be able to, really understand the fundamental concepts behind big data and what's driving it and what we're trying to accomplish, and then work our way into, building out those types of solutions. And so we'll talk a little bit about the fundamental concepts today. We'll talk about the cloud's impact on those types of concepts and what that means. We'll talk a little bit about the deployment models and why, how we get to an on-demand scenario, and then I'll deploy one for you. We'll talk a little bit through some of the Powershell and the automation to be able to do that. So we'll flip over to a demo here in just a couple minutes. I promise I'm not going to keep you guys in PowerPoint the whole time. So when we talk about fundamental concepts behind big data, what's driving it? Well, what's driving it is the fact that everybody thinks that, like I said before, that it's going to change the world. So the driver is really probably 30%, 40% hype, and 70% reality. It is a new platform found, based on the Hadoop, the Hadoop product, which is really a distributed computing platform, is really the best way to phrase it. It allows us to do distributed processing, distributed file system, distributed storage. Originally deployed to run on a Linux and Unix environment, ported to run on Windows, and now it's deployed in the cloud. And that's really where it's starting to see the most traction, because a lot of folks don't really want to go invest a huge amount of money in a ton of blades. So deploying Hadoop can come across as, oh, it's cheap, I'll just use these leftover machines I have laying around. I got news for you. If you've got leftover machines laying around, they're probably not great for big data either. So we'll talk a little bit about the deployment models in cloud in a little bit, but the changing characteristics of data is really the biggest driver. We want to start making decisions that are more and more data-driven, but not just one or two dimensionally. The biggest thing that we can accomplish with these types of technologies is adding more and more dimensionality to the decisions that we're making, and the way that we do that are through things like fixing our signal to noise ratio, getting a lot better correlation and causation analysis and discussions and those types of things. And right now you're saying, oh, he's using statistics words and data science words. I'm not a data scientist. Most people are not data scientists, right? And so what we're going to talk about today is just how to get a good platform up and running to be able to interact with Hadoop in the cloud and to be able to do your analytics in the cloud in an agile way, right? And those analytics requirements really come from operational optimization. How can we be a better company? How can our manufacturing work better? How can our drivers and delivery folks and our air traffic controllers and any number of different industries, how can they be more efficient? We'll skip the slide. How do we get actionable intelligence? How do we make sure that the data that we're getting drives real decisions, and how can we even potentially automate that? And how do we identify new markets? How do we look at the products that we have and the things that we're building and really figure out if we can understand some of these new customers and try to figure out what our customers would like for us to be able to deploy.
Hey, Adam, sorry to cut you off.
Yes.
Your screen's kind of cut off. I don't know if you can fix that.
I can sure try. Give me 1 second here, guys. Apologies for that. Give me 1 second here, guys. I apologize. Not sure what's causing it, but I'm going to play with my video settings here for a second, see if we can shrink it down a little bit.
There you go.
Is that better?
Yep, perfect.
Okay. Okay, great. All right. Sorry about that, folks. We will keep going. So we're also talking about new markets, right? So from a customer perspective, we want to understand what opportunities do we have to go and identify new customers that are interested in our products, but also want us to be able to do different things. So we can identify those with better data analysis. We want to make more accurate predictions and be able to dive in and look at fault and fraud detection and all of these different areas to really analyze our business and begin to add value. It's been a long time since IT was really considered a value-adding organization. A lot of executives look at it more of a cost factor, expense, that type of thing. With the capabilities of a more efficient distributed platform that is cost-effective and highly performing, we have the capability to start adding a lot of dollar value back into the business through better analysis and better analysis platforms. And it's incumbent on us to be able to take advantage of some of those opportunities.